Hey Apple Sewing Club, I want to make a video to talk to you through the details of my new bag that I sewed last weekend, for anyone who's interested in learning from what I learned last weekend. So this is a bag to hold my pot for backpacking, and I wanted something that was really form-fitting so that when you shake it, the lid doesn't come off. So that is what motivated me to make a cylinder-shaped bag versus a box like you usually make. So now I'll just talk through what I learned this week. So for first, the fabric, I use this fabric called Monolite, which is a very loosely woven nylon. And the cool thing about this is because of the spacing in the weave, they actually can use, it only weighs an ounce per square yard, but it has still pretty high diameter yarns, I forget. So it's pretty durable despite just being 1 ounce per square yard. And I like using this for a bag because I can see in my bag to see what's in there, and also if anything's wet, it'll dry more easily. So then once I had my fabric, then I had to decide like what shape I wanted, and I knew I wanted a side entry bag because I think it's easier since this bag's kind of form-fitting. I knew it'd be easier to put the pot in from the side than if I had to put the pot in down from the top. Then I would have to like perfectly fit the bag around the entire bottom of the cylinder all at once. Whereas when I go from the side, the curvature of the pot can help lead it into the bag. Okay, so then I measured up my pot and did a little side view and a top view. And these are measurements of the pot. And then over here, I started deciding what the size of the pattern should be. And everywhere I added allowances. So here for the diameter of the pattern, I say the D plus allowance is equal to D prime. And pretty much everywhere I added a 1/4 inch of allowance for a lot of the dimensions. And then once I had that, then I came over here and I wrote everything down again and added 1/2 inch seam allowances everywhere. Except on the opening side, I added a 3/4 inch seam allowance in order to make the drawstring channel. So once I had these done, then I got my pattern pieces here. This is the top and bottom, and this is the side. And then to make this piece a little smaller, I just did half of the side length, and this is like, when I laid this down on the fabric, I folded the fabric on this edge and cut it and unfolded it. So those are my patterns. Then I sewed it together. There's a YouTube tutorial somewhere about sewing around curves, sewing a flat wall to a curve, and I laid the fabric piece down and then sewed around, and it's a little messy. I sewed with white thread so I could see my work more easily. Well, I double stitched everything, and then I start off with the 1/2 inch seam allowance and then cut it, and then just used a lighter to seal it off. And I haven't bound the seams yet. Maybe I will need to later, not sure. And then I also added a little bit of grosgrain ribbon to reinforce the exit of the drawstring. So I think there are 3 mistakes I made here. The first is that my sewing job is a little iffy. There's lots of puckering. I was learning a bit about how to use pins in this project. I think I did more pins that would help with that. The second mistake I made is I accidentally sewed the drawstring opening so that it faces inward instead of facing outward. So I think I would have like stopped the seam a little early, flip the opening so that they're facing outward, and then sew it down so that the 2 openings point outward. Now the drawstring likes to point inward a lot. And then the third mistake I made is that I think I baked in too much allowance by adding a 1/4 inch to the height and diameter. It's a little floppier than I wanted, but it's really not that much of a problem. So yeah, there you go. That's the bag. Thanks. Bye.